Okay, hello everyone. We're going to start problem number 2 on assignment 7. So I've already went ahead and opened up a new file, a new part file. Look like this. And then after that part file opens, you're going to switch your units over to millimeters to match the part that we're drawing here. And this one I'll break into two pieces. I'll do this first part first, the one that has 3 holes in it, laying flat, and then I'll do the second part after that with the one with the single hole in the side. So let me start a new sketch. This first sketch will be on the top plane, again for this bottom part here. So I'm looking at this top view right now. I'll start on the right side with a circle. That's circle. Let me select my center circle first. Okay. What radius is this circle? It says right here, these three are diameter 14, so we know our radius is 7. Do a radius of 7. Um, this one, I will position it. I want my, what is this? Y, Z. I want this axis to go down the middle. So this first circle, I'll make it 50 units in the X direction, and then 25 units in the Y. Let me zoom in a little bit. Or I'm sorry, this is going to be 0 in the Y. So we want 50 units in the X direction, 0 in the Y. That way this X axis splits our drawing. Then I know I have another circle from that same center that is radius 18. So I'll make that one. Again, shares the same center, so it's also at 50 and 0 units in the Y direction. I have 2 other holes that I need to make. So these holes this one's going to be down here. Again, this is radius 7. It's going to be 0 in the X direction. Pretend this is our origin here at this intersection. And then that means in the Y direction, we're going down 25 units. So this would be negative 25. And then again, this has another circle that shares the same center. That one's radius 18. And then for the other circle on top, which is also radius 7, but this one, instead of being negative 25, will be positive 25. That center there. Go ahead and make that one its second circle, radius 18. Let's see, after that, we can make these arcs here. So we have 2 by 50 of radius 50. That I would use a perimeter circle. So I know I'm tangent to this point, and I'm tangent to this point, and then the third point is going to be my radius. Now, before I change this radius, I'm going to go ahead and lock my other arcs in place. We've done this before in the previous problem. Whenever we change this radius, we do not want any of our previous work to shift or move. So let me just lock these centers as well. All right, so now we can change this radius again to 50. So now we have this arc that's generated. Then I would just go back, trim this, what we don't need. You could use the mirror function to do it over, or in this case, I'll just do it again manually since it's not a great deal of work. And then trim the excess. For this next portion, I'm going to start off by making this reference line down the middle, which I'll use a center line, just so it's dotted and you guys can, visually see the difference. Um, so this one's going down the middle. Let's just put it out here somewhere. Make sure it's horizontal. Then I'll use my offset entities function, just to make this 10 millimeter gap that we have here, or I'm sorry, 16 millimeter gap that we have. So I want to do this 8 millimeters. This is the line that we're going to be offsetting. And I also want to do it bidirectional because I want to do it both ways. If I uncheck bidirectional, it'll only pick one side. So bidirectional will do both. So now I have a gap of 16 millimeters. So I'll go ahead and make this vertical line here. So we're at this quadrant, and this line will stop where it intersects our reference line here. Do the same thing on this side. We'll lock onto the quadrant, go vertical until we run into the other line. And there's two ways of doing this arc here. I'll do both methods. So the first one is going to be using the perimeter circle like we have been doing previously. So the first point tangent to this line, the second point tangent to that line. Then my third point is going to be my radius. My vertical and horizontal lines are already constrained, so they won't move, so I don't have to lock them or fix them in place. So I'll just change this circle to radius 12. And then I could trim the excess that I don't need, which would be this and this as well. Let me hit OK. Now the second method I'll do on the bottom side here, we could use a fillet. Fillet is what you pronounce or how you pronounce it when you're talking about food. Fillet is how you pronounce it when you're talking about sketching. So let's do a fillet of 12 millimeters. And then what I want to fillet is going to be this line and this line. Now SolidWorks is going to throw up a warning here. The corner to be filleted has geometry relations which will be deleted if the fillet is created. Do you want to continue? We'll go ahead and hit yes. So it's going to give us a preview here. Let's hit OK. And now it did that fillet for us. So you can see two different methods, both producing the same results. And then finally, let's close off this region here. So let's make a line. We'll close off where the fillet or the arc ends. So now that we can delete the excess, we no longer need this line. And I guess in this situation, the fillet was more efficient overall because it trimmed or got rid of the lines that we weren't going to need during that process. But either way, is either method is acceptable. Okay, so let's delete this line that we no longer need anymore, just a reference line. And then let's trim the inner regions of these arcs. So we have one large shaded area, which is what we'll be extruding. So now that we have our shaded area, let's hop on over to extrude under the features tab. This I will extrude downward. So again, let's hit this reverse direction button to point it down. How thick do we need it to be? It needs to be 10 millimeters thick based on the front view here. So again, the default is already on 10 millimeters. So let's hit OK. There you have that part of it. Other than the first part, I'll just hop on over to the isometric view so you can see we're on the right path. Now we just have to do this second part. Okay, so for this next part, what we'll do is we'll make a sketch on the front plane. So we can do this front side, sorry, this front sketch here. So let's do a sketch. As you can see, my workspace here changed, so I'm no longer to select them from here. But what I could do is if I hit this drop down tab, it shows my work tree here. So again, I've already hit sketch. I want to hit the front plane. So we'll move on over to the front plane. So now we're in this view. I'll start by making this a center circle. So let's make a circle in this region. This one has a diameter of 20, so a radius of 10. Now, what I could do here is I'm going to use my smart dimension from the center of this circle to this edge. We are 128 units, so let's make sure we select the correct edge. So this dimension needs to be 128 units, okay? And then also we know from the center of this circle to the bottom of the part, we are 22 units. So again, let's hit the center of that circle. Let's select somewhere along the bottom of the part and to make sure this is 22 units. And okay, everything looks good. And now that we have this center, we can make the second arc with a circle. So same center, and this is 22 units in radius. Now I'm going to make a line at the top of this part here so I can do let's do a perimeter circle, a perimeter circle that is tangent to this arc here and tangent to the line that we made. And then the third point, make sure we click in the right spots. The third point is going to be our radius. So let's see, let's lock this in, let's fix this in place. And then let's also fix this one in place. So hopefully that doesn't move. Um, let's do 125 for the radius. That looks fine. And then I could trim this arc. I could trim it here. Actually, I could delete this line altogether. Don't no longer need that line there. So let's select that line and delete it. Let's also delete these fixing constraints just so SolidWorks doesn't freak out on us. And let's make this region. We've already have the general shape, but we still have to close off the region. Remember, to make an extrusion, we need a closed off area. So we'll go ahead and finish this, connect that with the vertical line, and then finally trim this inner arc so we have our region. So I'll go ahead and hit OK, and I'll hop on over back to my isometric view just so you guys can understand what we're about to do. So the sketch that we made down the middle from the first portion. So this extrusion is going to be a little bit different. So we're still in this set, we're still working in this sketch. We're going to hop on over to our extrusion under the features tab. Now, since we're down the middle, instead of extruding only in one direction, what we're going to do is extrude in both directions. The way you do that is this box that says direction 2, you're going to check that off, and now it's going to give you a second extrusion direction to choose from. So if we're down the middle here, and we know this is 16 total, well, even it gives it to us here, it tells us we're 8 in each direction. So each extrusion, I'm going to make 8 millimeters. They're both blind because we're selecting a numerical value, and it's already selected the correct contour for us. So everything looks fine there. Let's go ahead and finish that off. And you have our part. And then finally, okay, looks like we were already in the isometric view. So you can see we just finished the problem number 2. Thank you.